Hi, Vicky.
Hey guys. Well, hey, Sue Ellen,
I just wanted to make sure I was on and in the right spot.
you are in the right spot.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
You guys, that's Sue Ellen Brazil. We'll do an official introduction in a few minutes, but she's my mentor, or
Right.
maybe,
Thank you.
or maybe the whip cracker.
Uh-oh.
No, it's in a good way. I mean, good grief. We were talking last night. What, at 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
we're both
Yes.
night owls.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna silence me so that
Okay. Well, there
I'll
should
just.
be a whole lot more people coming, hopefully. So,
Okay. All right. I'll be here and ready.
all right, thanks, son. Okay. Hopefully it means I'm recording. I probably stopped it instead of
Now it's
starting.
on.
Good. Well, like I said, I've got to have you people in the background keeping me going. So it's easier to be the participant than the leader when it comes to Zoom because I just don't do it that often. So welcome, welcome. And Socorro, do you have any words of welcome to give us?
All right, I muted myself. Hi, how's everybody doing? Thanks for joining. And um, juniors are off to a great start. We're trying to start some new clubs. So if anybody has anyone who's interested in opening up a new juniors club in your area, just shoot me a text or email. We're trying to start over at Ostley Circle. Hopefully we can get that off and running by the beginning of the year, hopefully. But trying to find some new ways of attracting some more women to our cause and help us keep growing.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda is the inspirational moment. And Maddie wasn't able to be with us today. So I'm going to be her, try to fill her shoes, which is very difficult. But I found this quote a few months ago and was scrolling through all the quotes that I saved off of Facebook. And I thought this one was super appropriate for today and the world we're living in. As the world fights to figure everything out, I'll be holding doors for strangers, letting people cut in front of me in traffic, saying good morning, keeping babies entertained in grocery lines, stopping to talk to someone who is lonely, being patient with sales clerks, smiling at a passerby. Why? Because I will not stand idly by and live in a world where love is invisible. Join me in showing kindness, understanding, and judging less. Be kind to a stranger. Give grace to friends who are having a bad day. Be forgiving of yourself today and every day. Be the change. Be the light. Start today and never stop. Okay, next is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And I guess I will ask everybody to remotely stand and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Of course, I forgot the flag that's in my office. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And as Beth and I recognized our very special guest, we do have Sue Ellen Brazil with us from the GFWC Executive Committee, and we're looking forward to hearing her speak toward the end of this first session. And I know we have a lot of people who had registered who are, past presidents and other special people that need to be recognized, but it's a little difficult when people aren't sitting at the head table and I don't know exactly who everybody is here and that kind of thing. So I'm recognizing everybody who's here. Thank you for being here. And we will go ahead and have the preliminary credentials report by Jill Jackson. If Jill is here. Jill. Okay, Jill is not here. So we will try to get her to come in at some point and give us the credentials report. And if she's not able to join us in real time, we'll post that information. The next thing on the agenda is the report, the treasurer's report. And Elaine Woody is not able to be with us today. So I'm going to give just a brief overview of where we are financially. Right now in our checking account, our beginning balance was $25,034.35. We've had income of $1,100, which gives us a current balance of $25,465.85. With the administrative expenses, we had a beginning balance of $3,060, and we have made payments for SER dues, charter renewal, directors and officers liability insurance, and our fidelity bond for a total of $668.50, which gives us a current balance of $2,391.50. For our officers' reports, because so many people are not able to join us today, and to save time, I'm asking all our officers to submit your report by email to our recording secretary, and she will include those in the minutes. But rest assured, we've all been very busy working behind the scenes. So next on our agenda is Sue Ellen Brazil, our GFWC First Vice President. And I had her at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, whenever we were chatting with each other last night. I asked her to send me her bio, and she said, oh, cut and paste what you want to talk about. And I'm going, no, this is just too amazing. I'm going to read it all. So Sue Ellen B. Brazil is the GFWC First Vice President. As GFWC First Vice President, leading 51 GFWC state presidents, Sue Ellen Brazil applies the national perspective, organizational expertise, and collaborative skills developed throughout 47 years in diverse leadership roles. With a rich background and extensive experience, Sue Ellen is a highly enthusiastic, dynamic leader whose dedication and passion are unwavering. From 1980 to 84, Sue Ellen served as the GFWC Alabama Director of Junior Clubs, then GFWC Junior Education Chairman. Sue Ellen then became Hobie International Leadership Seminar National Volunteer Chairman with 12 years of national service and exponential growth within the Hugh O'Brien Youth Foundation. During 45 years on the GFWC Alabama Board, Sue Ellen served all appointed elected offices, including state president from 1998 to 2000, where policy improvements she championed impact Alabama today. She organized leadership training opportunities along with seminars at the Alabama State Capitol and implemented state and district leads programs. After being state president, Sue Ellen successfully led several GFWC programs in GFWC region as treasurer, secretary, vice president, and president. Focused on strengthening international connections, she welcomed the Women's Club of Aruba to the southern region. That's pretty cool. That international commitment continues today. As GFWC leadership chairman from 2012 to 2014, she oversaw a 73% increase in GFWC state leads programs and provided numerous leadership resources. A native Alabamian, did I say that right? Very good. She and husband Billy have 2 sons and are only 2 weeks away from having her 3rd grandchild. I think it's a little girl too, but I may be wrong. Retired after 44 years with Baldwin County Schools, her final position was Executive Elementary Administrator, supervising 28 schools and 18,000 students. Working with domestic violence prevention, homeless, and veterans keeps her grounded in grassroots service. So ladies, please welcome Sue Ellen Brazil, our GFWC first Vice President.
Well, thank you very much, Madam President. It is certainly a pleasure for me to be with you and GFWC Tennessee today, and to have been invited just to give you a brief update with GFWC, and then my thoughts on how we can ensure to achieve a wow factor for the 2020-22 administration. I am certainly glad to be here with you through today's technology. Were it not for that, I wouldn't have that opportunity, and we wouldn't have the opportunity to even be together today. But we do, and it's great to be able to be here, see your smiling faces, and at some point I'm sure that I'm going to hear some of you talk. My husband and I just returned home late yesterday afternoon, just before dark. We had our first little getaway in a little over 2 years due to significant health issues he's had, and then compounded by COVID over the last 9 months. We haven't been out of the house very much, and we were going bonkers. So we decided to have a little getaway, and we took that week-long getaway and so enjoyed your beautiful home state with spectacular views of the Smoky Mountains and all the surrounding areas. What a journey we've all had over the last 9 months. Through all the challenges of COVID-19 and significant weather events. I don't know if you all were impacted at all by hurricanes, but we got hit pretty solidly here where I live, certainly with Hurricane Sally, and had impact from the others. We've not seen a hurricane season like this in the years that I remember as an adult. But we've all had lots of challenges and bumps in the road along the way. But I will tell you that even through all of that, my heart has just been filled to witness the resilience and the response of our GFWC club women. I so very much appreciate the vision and the strength of our leadership at every level, and hope our members and help our members to navigate the times and look at these times as opportunities to really move our organization forward. Have you known of another time that we would be opened to so many changes as we have during the last, maybe not 9 months, but certainly at least, I would say at least 6 months? 9 or 10 months ago, we had no idea what Zoom was or Big Marker, or we had no thoughts of doing any kind of meetings remotely. Although your GFWC Executive Committee has been talking about that time and the desire to reach our grassroots club women for the 6.5 years that I've sat around the Executive Committee table with GFWC. And here we are. It is indeed a proud and exciting time for me, and I know it is for many. Though it's challenging, we're all learning at exponential rates, and we're all having to reinvent the way we work and do. It's an exciting time because we have broken the barriers of this is the only way we will do things or can do things or should do things. I'm excited with your attendance today at the fall conference. That shows me with great confidence that you're here to learn and plan for your future at the local level and even at the state level. With that, I hope that by now you have all taken the opportunity to visit GFWC's website and learned how to get into the member portal. Now, I know that that can be a little intimidating because I experienced some of that same frustration when I tried to build my profile the first time. But let me give you a little tip. If that is not exactly an easy thing for you to do, or you hit a bump, don't even waste your frustration on it. Just call the GFWC headquarters, and we have the most supportive staff that stands ready to help each and every individual who will stop and call them. They will walk you through the process and help you get into the member portal, and even help to give you a few tips about how to get around. You'll be all equipped to take care of it yourself the next time you're ready to get in there. Once you're in the member portal, I know that you're not going to be disappointed to find comprehensive information and documents and guidelines that will just are there to help you and your members be successful in all the efforts that you work on in the coming years. These are amazing benefits of belonging to GFWC. And these documents and this information is only accessible by our GFWC members. After all, that's part of what we pay our dues for, is the benefits that we can provide our members. And we are truly excited to be able to provide such information that's so broad reaching for you. I certainly hope that you have found that the new club manual is an invaluable and essential resource to your volunteer plans. We really are so proud of the work that our GFWC chairman and committees did to prepare just fantastic sections of the club manual. And it is far-reaching in the scope of the information and ideas that you will find. You have said, and we've all heard it, that you want more and more project ideas. And I believe that if you take the time to look at that manual over time, of course, I believe that you'll just find jillions of project ideas or ideas that will stimulate your thinking, and you can jump off of that and have some fantastic activities and ways to support the needs in your community. I also would like to encourage each of you to take part in an all-out effort to stay connected. Just because we have COVID and many still are not comfortable in meeting in person, that does not mean that we have to stand still. Nope, whether it's through Zoom, Facebook Live, perhaps a free conference call, or some other platform, I challenge you to consider how you can continue to connect and serve, both of which are fundamentally important to all of our members. If we stand still and don't touch our members from now until the end of COVID, until things are safe, I really have concerns over our membership. And so I challenge you to think about this, not so much of the times that we're in. Obviously, I want you to be safe, but don't let COVID stop us from doing the work that we are so passionate about. Our GFWC chairmen have been encouraged to host Zoom meetings with their state counterparts, and many of those are going on. I've had the opportunity to sit in on some of them, and it's a great way to keep our state chairmen growing and thereby impacting the local grassroots club women with ideas and support. I hope that you enjoyed the summer webinar series that GFWC offered. I was excited to note that we had full capacity, which was 500 people. We had full capacity on several of our webinars, and we reached more grassroots club women and volunteers than ever before in our GFWC workshops. This series was just the first of the steps that we have planned to be in contact and try to have a concerted effort to reach all of our members. In the weeks ahead, be on the lookout for additional webinars that will introduce our affiliate organizations and share news about International President St. Clair's Best of Britain tour that she's going to host this summer, and much more. I wondered if you had heard about the new club contest, and there may be someone that's going to be speaking about that today, but I wanted to let you know that information about a new club contest is included at the very end of the membership section of the club manual. And so I challenge you to consider how you can either refederate clubs, start new clubs, think about different options for organizing clubs. At the GFWC annual convention in 2022, an award certificate will be given to each state that federates at least one or more new GFWC clubs during the administration. Plus, the state will receive a financial award of $50 for each club that is federated. You can and should all be part of the opportunity to share the GFWC experience with others. We grow, we love the collaboration, we love the connection with our sisters, and so why not share that with others? By forming new clubs, some people think is a really hard thing and cumbersome, but it's really not so hard, and you'll find that there's step-by-step guidelines included in the membership resources section of the club manual that can help you along. I've been excited to have the opportunity to work a little bit in my home state in the last month or so, where I'm working with the state membership chairman to help kick off a new statewide cyber club. And we have our first meeting on Zoom tomorrow night, and we have right at 30 paid charter members already, and we've been working on it a month and a half. We're offering this opportunity in the hopes that we can find and reconnect with former members of GFWC who enjoyed being part of our membership, former members whose clubs defederated. We're looking for those women who are busy but often can't attend meetings because of their work schedule, but who love the camaraderie of working with others. We're looking for women who no longer have the ease of traveling to meetings, but still love serving. We're looking for current members of a club, but who just love to try new things. And lastly, we're looking for any service-minded prospective member that comes to mind that would be willing to jump in on a club that meets 4 times a year via Zoom and who can serve in her hometown remotely. So we're optimistic about this venture that we're embarking on, and look forward to sharing those results with you later on. I am optimistic that you are working to use this challenging time to make yourself and your club stronger through personal growth and your community enhanced through a variety of outreach projects. You know, GFWC leaders everywhere are helping their states, their districts, and even their clubs to become stronger, even though we're working on times that are unknown to all of us. We're just not willing to let the current time stall us out and sit there pondering, now what do we do? No, we're not doing that. It is time for us to consider options and reinvent the way we organize and serve others. By focusing on specific activities and learning opportunities that equip our members and enhance their skills and knowledge, we can guarantee a fantastic administration for your federation. In last year's reports, you showed indeed that you did step up in remarkable ways and stretched beyond what you thought you could. Well, now's not the time to let your guard down, and certainly don't want you to stop here. We have plenty of time to move your club, your district, GFWC Tennessee, and indeed GFWC forward. To help us move in that direction, I want us to consider 3 questions. And so I ask you to try to jot those down as I give them to you. And then I encourage you to take time in your home club, perhaps your district, or even at the state leadership level. Consider possible options and actions that you can take between now and the end of the administration. So here we go. Question number 1. What are you doing this administration to make a significant difference in GFWC Tennessee and GFWC? Are you willing to accept status quo, staying right where we are? I don't care to stay exactly where we are. I have never been one that accepts being where we are today. For if we're not moving forward, we're dying off, and slowly but surely the end will be in sight. No, I want us to think about what is it that we're going to do during this administration to make a huge difference. We have plenty of time to make something happen in a really special way. So why not get started? As you consider what you and your team want to accomplish to grow leadership and membership and service during this administration, ponder those things as you consider the options for responding to question 2. So question 2 is, what can you do starting right now, today maybe, to create a seamless yet energized and specific plan of action to guide you? You know, we can get anywhere we want to go, but we're going to be much more effective if we have a very specific action plan with where it is that we want to go. Consider facilitating a planning meeting if you haven't already, or even a retreat. I know it would have to be over Zoom or some of whatever your favorite platform is, but what does it matter as long as we can collect together and meet and talk and brainstorm and dream, during which you can develop a collaborative vision that will set the bar higher than it is today. So again, what is it that you're going to do to create a seamless yet highly energized and specific plan of action to guide you? Question 3, the last one. What can you do to engage new or more reluctant leaders in those beginning leadership steps that help provide the foundation and the confidence for them to be ready to take the next steps? What can you do to engage the more reluctant leaders in those beginning leadership steps to help give them the foundational knowledge and the confidence to do the work so that they will be ready to take the next steps? And I'm thinking about there could be next steps during the coming year and a half, but certainly we know that there are many we need prepared for next steps for the 2022-2024 administration. And you don't start preparing them when it's time for the nominating committee to meet. So what are you going to do now to help them get ready? Let's be proactive in all things. So make our projects big, make them happen in a big way. Don't just let them happen. We get so accustomed with doing what we are already comfortable with. Don't just let them happen. Look at the needs. Do your research. Consider what needs to be done. Be creative and be willing to try new things, new ways. Certainly begin with the end in mind. If you know where you're going, you're much more likely to be successful. With a positive attitude, develop that collective vision and let your members help design the blueprint for your activities. Put first things first. Schedule activities throughout the year. By being organized and consistent with communications and shared responsibilities, the difference you can make will be monumental. Collaboration, working together, ensures that everybody feels like they're part of the effort and they have ownership in that, and it brings deeper commitment to success. I ask you to stop and sharpen your saw, as the saying goes. Take advantage of various learning and networking opportunities GFWC and your state offers, and have fun along the way. Encourage members to attend for themselves and gain the many benefits that are theirs just simply for the taking. Enjoy the journey. When engaged in the activities and working with members who share that common bond of service, the journey will be exceedingly rewarding, fulfilling, and fun. Be visionary. With the vision we establish, it becomes our job to look into the future and see GFWC not as it is today, but rather as all it can become tomorrow. To reach our greatest potential, we must set our sights clearly, embrace the unknown with the greatest of confidence, and begin our new journey. So kick up your heels along the way. Keep your head high and looking forward always. And keep your personal and volunteer standards high. GFWC Tennessee, join me and the GFWC Executive Committee in working for bright days ahead for our beloved GFWC. It's our turn to ensure that she grows, is relevant, and is strong. GFWC is left in our hands, Won't you join hands as we light the way for powerful years ahead for GFWC as a vital organization that enhances our communities and changes lives forever? Thanks so much, Madam President, for allowing me the opportunity to give a little overview and to share some of my thoughts about how we work in our coming months. And thank you so very much to you and those who serve on the GFWC Board of Directors. Thank you, GFWC for Tennessee, for sharing the leadership with us.
Thank you so much, Sue Ellen. We do have a lot of representation on the GFWC board from previous leadership here in Tennessee, and we're very, very proud of all those people. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to take some questions from some of the participants based on what you had to tell us. And then, of course, you know, we don't have a chance to sit around and talk, you know, amongst ourselves with, you know, small groups and things like we used to do when we had our big meetings. And so I think one of the things I wanted you to see if you could give us a little more information on is the Cyber Club. I know Stephanie, our membership chairman, is very interested in exploring that possibility for the state. And we were going to try to do some research on how is GFWC's bylaws ready to go for things like that. I'm sure they're already in place. And what was your process? How did you reach out to people? Did you have, like, was it word of mouth? Would you be willing to tell us a little bit about that?
I sure will. I will let you know that this is our first venture at forming a cyber club. We do have a couple of cyber clubs, but they're specific purpose cyber clubs. Like our Leeds graduate, they have a cyber club because they're from all over the state. Our Juniorette alumni has formed a cyber club, but we do not have a regular women's club, if you will, or a statewide cyber club. And because I am very good friends with our state second vice president, who is over membership, there's a little cluster of us who have had some great interest in this opportunity. And so it was with little experience or knowledge that we just embarked and decided one day that this was what this was our opportunity to help grow our state organization. The last administration, were it not for the loss of one club in my district that I had no idea was happening, they defederated. No, they didn't defederate, they disbanded. And the action was taken before I even learned about it. If we had not lost that club, GFWC Alabama would have grown in membership 2 years straight for that administration. So that was very disheartening. And for it to be 8 miles from me, I was brokenhearted. I called to see if there was anything I might could do, if I could meet with them, but I was told at that point the action was taken and it would be concluded within a week. So we've talked about how do we work to offset those kinds of happenings. You know, we can work and grow our membership and encourage clubs to gain members. We can do all those things, but we were just trying to think ahead. What is it that we can do? Obviously, we all have clubs who are getting, who have members of age, and there are some just clubs who are totally women of age. And I'm approaching that time, not approaching that time right now that I'm that old. Oh, but I'm on that end of the spectrum, I guess is what I would say. And, you know, that's the natural course of life. And so if we don't do something to offset that, then we run that risk of losing lots of clubs. And so we brainstormed about what are some things that we could do. And so here came the idea of perhaps looking at a cyber club, because we knew that we had a couple of clubs that had defederated, but there were still members who loved GFWC, but they didn't have another club in that area to take part in. And the kinds of women that I mentioned in my comments. So we thought, here's an opportunity for us to reach out and maybe regain those women who enjoy GFWC, or even we have some women who are older but are still active, even on Facebook. They might not can still go to a club meeting, but they still like the connection and the communication, the hearing of what's going on. So we decided to start. We first connected. We have a membership committee at the state, and we included everybody on the membership committee because we felt like that was their task as well. And then we included the executive committee and a few other members across the state that we knew were highly engaged in the organization and had great love for seeing it grow. And we sort of had that core group, and that was probably 18 or 20 people by the time we added those two bodies of people. And so we started as a Facebook page, a Facebook group. It's an open group. Anybody can join it. All you have to do is ask. And that doesn't mean that you're in the club, but we have a Facebook group, and then we have a club that we are starting. We started by developing a virtual event, and one member volunteered. She did a paperless post, I think is what it's called, rather than doing an Evite that so many people seem to just not. We were looking for something that might create a little bit more open up and see what it is. So we did a paperless post. That's not necessarily the only thing that you can do. Those of you who maybe do any of those things with no other options. But we developed an invitation to join us in a virtual meeting to take part in a project. Very often if you can get somebody at your club or ask them to help you with a project, before you invite them to be a member, they may get there and enjoy the camaraderie and think, oh, this is pretty cool. I might like to be part of it. So we thought we would reverse the trend and invite them to take part of a project, and then share with them about the virtual, the cyber club. And so we did that. We did not have a tremendous number show up, but we were still sharing information with everybody we had on a list. And I think we had developed a list of about 70 people, some of whom were current members, some of whom were former members that we knew would be likely to investigate what our option was. And then others we just invited friends that we thought had paid attention to our club's Facebook post and who would be willing to jump in there. So we started with a list of about 70 invitees. Excuse me. And so we had our little project event, and we started posting things on our cyber club was called GFWC, Sweet Home Alabama Volunteers. A long name, but we were trying to think of something that gave the impression that it was for everyone. It wasn't for a local area. Something that would be fun. So anyway, that's our name. It's long, it's a mouthful, and it's long to get on a line. But anyway, that's it, and we're sticking to it. So we had the event. We made, as an example of how easy it is to do something remotely, a member did an example of how you can take tissue paper and make flowers, small flowers with the tissue paper, or not small ones, larger flowers with tissue paper, or you could use cupcake liners and make little flowers. And then we talked about twisting them around a pair of socks or a pair of underwear or pajamas, and then donating them to our local domestic violence shelter, because we were focusing on domestic violence at that time. But to show them how easy it was to do. And it didn't matter that they all went to the same place. As long as we were all doing the same thing, or as many as could do the same thing, then we would be productive. A small team was working to develop a preliminary draft of our bylaws while we were posting stuff and inviting people to like the Facebook page, sharing bits of information about, we're meeting 4 times a year, once a quarter on Zoom, and that we'll post project ideas. Anybody does that on the Facebook page, and anybody can pick up and join. We haven't quite decided how we're going to report yet back. We haven't gotten to that stage yet, but we figured right now we just got to get going. So anyway, we did that. We've been following up on the people. We've sent another communication out, put ideas on Facebook page, welcomed people that was joining our Facebook, I keep calling it page, it's a group. And then we decided that it was time to push to get to the meeting where we were going to call it our official first chartering meeting. So we then started advertising that for all those people who pay their dues by October the 9th, or send them by October the 9th, all those members would be considered chartered members. And didn't you want to be one of those? So, there's something about being something that only you can do at a certain time that does stimulate people. So we started promoting the charter deadline, which is tomorrow. And so then we started hearing from more people. And as of last night, when I talked with Caroline, I think we were up to having received dues from 29 or 30 women. And it's a nice combination of current members, non-GFWC at all, and former members at this point. And so we'll see what the mail brings tomorrow, or emails bring tomorrow, about people who have dropped theirs in the mail or whatever. So we're just kind of playing that point at this point. We plan to elect our officers tomorrow night, because to start a bank account and get these checks deposited, we need to have our officers elected. And because we did not want to just pick people who could do it, we really wanted to have an election and hopefully engage somebody who hasn't been in GFWC before. We've been working I haven't been, but somebody's been working on contacting people over this last week that we might can elect our officers tomorrow night. The bylaws have already been adopted by that core group, because we needed a name and we needed to know how often we were going to meet, and confirm that we were going to meet virtually or remotely via Zoom, so that those things could be advertised. And so anyway, we have our chartering meeting tomorrow night, where we'll have our election. We're going to brainstorm ideas of projects that can be done remotely, share with them. We have some geographical areas that might have a clustering of members that could collectively choose a homeless shelter and send that stuff to that one. And there are some women who are out there in their own communities, but who could engage their neighbors or their friends or whoever to help them, and then pick a place. We're going to talk about how to function, how we'll be doing our volunteer work, and talk about doing some cards for the veterans home that's nearest to you, or any kind of veterans organization that's near to you, since we're right here at Veterans Day. So we're getting started, and that's about as much as I can share at this point, but things seem to be going pretty well. I mean, we're going to charter at least with 30, and we're not stopping there. We hope to grow much larger than that, but if we can engage these 30 and understanding that it's their job too, not just 3 or 4 of us to find members, then, we're looking for bigger and better things to come, but that's where we are at this point. I don't know if I answered everything that you might want to know, Vicki, or if there's something else anybody would like to know.
I mean, that's mind-blowing and perfect. I think that's going to help Stephanie Haggard a lot moving forward with our thoughts about doing something exceedingly similar. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions about anything GFWC that we could talk to Sue Ellen about? I know she probably needs 7 drinks of water, and she probably wasn't totally prepared and having all this time to speak, but we have a little bit of time before our session ends. I will tell you a little bit about one of our clubs, new clubs, the Murray County Club, falls right in with your homeless emphasis that it sounded like for your cyber. They have, and I will let Amy talk to you about it, because that might be something that
she's excited.
That the ladies who live like in outlying areas who don't have the clusters, maybe something that what Amy's club is doing might be something that your cyber club could do. So Amy, where are you? Want to tell everybody about it?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Hi. I actually did have a question first, and it's to be a quick one. Ms. Sue Ellen, your 3 questions, could you possibly type those out in the chat so that we have a better opportunity to write those down? Thank you.
Right. I'll do that in a while. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank
you. If
you.
not before, I'll do it during the break.
Okay. Our club, GFWC Murray County Women's Club, we're very new. We've only been around for 14 months. And boy, what a 14 months to start a club. You
don't know the way it's always been done, Amy. You're free. You're free.
We're doing okay. It is very hard to get people to show up right now. So tips on membership are fantastic, and I really appreciate it. What we've recently done is we started something called a Bless Your Heart Wall. That's what we're calling it. Some other places call it a wall of hope or a wall of love, or it has a bunch of different names to, you name it whatever you want to. It's a pet project of our club secretary, who saw it in a magazine and decided that it was something that she wanted to do. And we all quickly got behind the idea. It's incredibly simple and yet somehow incredibly hard to explain. We have a wall, which is a fence behind a church. We found a place in town that was willing to give us space for this. And basically what we're doing is, if you have items to donate to low-income people, people who are struggling, people who are homeless, you put it in a bag and you hang it on the fence. And then whoever needs it just comes and takes it. When we launched it last Sunday. We had 135 bags on the wall of everything from granola bars to laundry detergent to toothbrush, toothpaste, anything you can think of that anybody could possibly need that you could just fit in a little Ziploc bag and hang it on the wall. And the next morning we were down to 31 items. So we clearly struck on a big need in our community, and keeping it up is going to be tough, but we've also invited the entire Columbia community to contribute. Church groups are welcome, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, whomever wants to throw stuff on the wall is welcome to throw stuff on the wall, even just regular people in our community. So we did make a Facebook page for it, and and keeping that updated with needs that are on things we need to be put on the wall, and when it's running low on something, we can ask people to bring that in. But so far it's only been a week, but it's been a raving success.
Right. I can see that it would be. There's 2 things about that, Amy. That would be fantastic for any cyber club, because even if you're alone, you have friends, or you have a Sunday school class, or you have people with whom you work, your neighbors, that you could connect with and get something like that going. but you've done what I think that we all have to do, and that's to rethink how we work, at least for right now. And I don't know that we'll ever go back to exactly the same way. Do I ever think that we should do away with in-person meetings? Absolutely not. There's nothing that will take the place of being in person, touching and hugging and celebrating together and sharing ideas.
Yeah, we
But-
brainstorm so much
but-
better when we're in the same room.
Hey, but don't we brainstorm this way so much better than we were if we were on a phone with one person on the
Absolutely.
other end of the phone?
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we have almost 25, if we don't have 25 here, that can brainstorm together. And yes, Vicki, it is a little bit harder, but it's easy enough for us to gather ideas. You know what we did whenever we had 50 of you state presidents? Now talk about a challenge. Girls, that isn't easy. But we've done that, right, Vicki? So
Herding cats, yes.
no doubt, but it was so much fun and energizing. I could not go to sleep after it was over with because I was so filled with the excitement that we were not being stopped. I mean, we talked about what is it that you're doing to reach out and touch your people at this time? Because if we don't do that, where are we going to be at the end? And it really is, it is a challenge, and yet it's exciting. And Amy, you are the prime example. You and your club are a prime example. You didn't know what boundaries sometimes we feel or impose upon our own selves. And you looked for a way to do that. And that is amazing. You probably weren't reinventing what you were doing and how you were doing it. You were just thinking about, how do we do this? And that is great. Now, I wasn't ignoring you. When I picked up my telephone, I wanted to share an email or a post of a club that I'm aware of. And this friend of mine talks about how to take, and I'm really big about this. I'm not one that's, I don't know why, because it started as a young teenager, why I am not one that loves mediocrity or accepts being the average. I used to think I was average. And now I realize that maybe I'm not so average, so because I get all wired up about doing things bigger and better than ever before. As the junior says, what work I have to do. So here was a post I'm going to share just because I can do it quicker than I can try to talk about it, and I've only read it once. This particular club hosted what they called Baby It's Cold Outside. Now, does that sound much more exciting than just having a coat collection project? So give your project some kind of a creative, invigorating, exciting name. She says, we hosted a Baby It's Cold Outside coat, hat, and glove drive last night at our monthly meeting. And I know they meet every month via Zoom. The church where we meet is a collection center, and they coordinated getting our items to this particular agency that's a 501c3 that serves the homeless. It could serve anybody, but they are a collection agency. Not only did we collect coats, 74 of them, we hosted a competition. Now here's where she takes this. She is really big into this. She calls this process exploding a project. She didn't just take a coat project. She exploded this. Now here's how she doesn't say it here, but I know she tells me. She said, I believe in exploding a project. And so I like that term. So she said, not only did we collect the coats, but we hosted a competition among 3 teams of club members. So they divided their club members into 3 teams. It could be 10 teams, depending upon how many members you have. But they divided their members into teams. Each team was given $20 to go out and purchase coats at thrift stores, yard sales, and the like. So she gave them something to do. Now that'd be easy enough for them to do and watch social distancing, wearing their mask, and only those doing it who felt comfortable in it. We learned who our club's really bargain hunters were. Additionally, earlier this month, 10 members met to learn how to knit hats on round looms. Many of the 41 hats and 18 scarves we donated were made by our club members. Additionally, we had a cozy comfort tree. Think about a Christmas tree. We're in that season, with 69 pair of donated gloves clothespinned to the tree. Thanks to everyone who participated by donating, knitting, and sharing on their personal Facebook page. What did that one thing do? Unmute yourself, somebody, and tell me, what did that one thing do? Somebody unmute and talk to me.
Come on, people, you talk.
Sue
Thank
Ellen,
Yeah,
thank you so much. That was very inspirational. And that's what it did. It fired up all those women to jump on the bandwagon and support their community by volunteering. It's just wonderful.
that's exactly right, Janie. But what did it do for others outside of the club? Anybody have a thought? By putting it on, by taking this post where they announced it, not where she's talking to GFWC Alabama, but where they originally posted the opportunity. If they posted it on their personal pages, what did that do? Two
PR.
or three
PR
things.
outreach.
Linda.
New members. New members.
Mm-hmm.
I know for Amy's project, she had exponential, like I think you've gained what, 15 people on your public page because of the publicity, Amy, just because of the wall, right? So, you know,
Yeah.
members and definitely publicity, CPR.
I will tell you, if you will start taking posts where you're sharing things about GFWC or GFWC Tennessee or GFWC your club, any and all of that, if you'll put it on your personal pages, and members will do it, not all the time, but even part of the time, and everybody kind of shares, when your community will know more about GFWC than they likely ever will have known. And always at the end, I've started, because I've seen it in other places, I've started telling, sharing some of our state activity or club activities. And I'd say, if this sounds like something you would like to do, you're interested in giving back, you're interested in serving others, or you're whatever, reach out, message below, and we'd love to have you come and visit a meeting. Do you put on the open Facebook page where you're meeting once it's out, you're off of Zoom? No, but you can make that connection. So you're teaching the community all about GFWC Tennessee and your club. You're exciting others about the possibility, and if you invite them to consider coming and just visiting, then you're working that angle of potential membership growth. What did you do by connecting with other organizations in your projects? I know you have some ideas.
You grow the project. You make it from being, cover, maybe touching, say, 4,000 people in your community, or even if you reach your whole community, maybe 20,000, to maybe reach hundreds of thousands.
Or you could not post it anywhere and keep it among 25 people, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we need to open up and think about how to do what Becky calls exploding a project, opening it up, because there's so many things that can happen for us when we do that. Yeah, Janet, you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm district president, and what I try to do is let all the clubs know that I'm willing and able to come to any event that they have, and I share it on our GFWC of Tennessee site, but I also share it on my personal site, hoping that I'll get feedback from people that are curious about what GFWC is.
Exactly. And sharing it on personal pages can do all of that. If we keep it all to ourselves, like, Marion's doing a lot, our international president doing a lot with the sun, and somebody was talking about hiding your light under a bushel. No, let your light shine. And so that's sort of the same concept. You're sharing it out there, and it teaches, it engages them. But when we work and collaborate with other organizations or agencies, it teaches them what we can do. And before long, some of them are going to start coming to us and say, can you help? I know in my local club, I became aware just simply because I was asked. I'd never heard of this group. I was asked to take a box of books. We had collected books and we were giving them out to anybody that our education chairman could think of. And I said, if you'll just give me a box of books, I can deliver them one day. And so I just happened to be given this place called Mary's Shelter in Summerdale, a rural part of South Baldwin County. And I had never heard of it, never been there. My husband and I drove down there with this one box of books to take it to them. And I learned that it was a homeless shelter for pregnant women who had maybe been in an abusive situation or who had been put out of their home. They had no place to go and they were pregnant. They were able to stay in that particular facility for 15 months. And so when I got there with this box of books and I learned a little bit about the group, I thought, oh my God, this is a place that we could make such a difference. They were pregnant. Some of them had children in the facility. A lot of them were high school dropouts. Some of them were special needs adults because there were special needs in school. And the facility was able to house 15 women. And so I quickly talked to them about their needs, and we developed a multidimensional project of support for that shelter. We have a reading coach who is in our club, and so we took books, little hardback books for infants down, and then she taught them how important it was to read to their, even their infants. And then we gave them little hardback books, and then she kind of practiced how to do it because we didn't want to just assume that they knew all of the words. And she talked about how to read with expression and inflection and those kinds of things. And then she she did a practice, and then we read through a book, and then she let them practice. And there was one woman whose baby was 1 week old, and she laid the baby on her chest and she read the hardback book to that 1 week old infant. And I took pictures. I was sort of the photographer or some videos. And it was amazing to hear this young woman who had not said a word and how she read to that baby. And I mean, we did some other things with them. One thing that we did with them is to teach them the power of giving back to others. And so we took fleece and made this no-sew blankets together for all of us, the clients and us, to give to the domestic violence shelter. We made an adult blanket and we made a baby blanket. Our plans were whatever baby blanket they made, we turned around and gave to them for their infant. But we were working to help give them that joy of giving to others. And so I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but anyway, Amy, that's a great idea. When you include others and you include other agencies, they soon find you out, and they'll either become part. We opened up a fidget pillow project to the community, and we didn't just do it as a club. We had our second effort of doing it as a community event, and we've since had another one as a community event. And now we have people who are reaching out to us in need of fidget pillows who are good for dementia patients or young children who have attention deficit problems. And so because we had the service project as a community service project, we have really engaged some other people. So those are some ideas that I know of personally. Other things I probably have gone off target with you.
No. We've got about 30 minutes. So please,
Okay.
if you have other ideas or if anybody else has questions for Sue Ellen, please take advantage of her fount of wisdom.
I don't know about wisdom, but I do have a lot of years under my belt, so I've seen lots of things. Yeah, Nancy.
My question is there any opportunity that the Atlanta convention might be rescheduled at a future date?
Perhaps so. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know.
Yeah, we missed going to Atlanta, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
But we would have missed it no matter where it was. I mean, obviously for Alabama and Tennessee, Atlanta was real close to home for us. But we would have missed it no matter where it was scheduled. We just missed being in person. Anybody else? I think I saw another hand earlier that maybe I didn't get to. I will tell you, I'm really, leadership development is an area that's a big passion of mine. And so what I shared with you today, I believe passionately, and think it's so critical that we think about what we do with great purpose. We have a plan, we have it well in advance. And we need to be thinking about how, and you need to talk about at your state level and your local club, how can you help those people who just won't step up and take a leadership role? Is it, why might they, Vicki, you can tell me when to be quiet and I'll just
No.
stop. But since nobody has a question, I'm going to go off on this angle a minute. Why do people hesitate to take a leadership role? Anybody? Come on, I need people to talk to me now.
I'll tell you.
Fear of
Okay.
accountability.
Accountability. Some people, yeah.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about that, Jan Johnson and Stephanie Haggard and I, because it's like being invited to a club activity. If you don't ask, you don't do. So Susan Martin actually recruited me as state treasurer, which started my journey. And I never thought about serving on Tennessee's executive committee prior to that. So, and actually Darla Dye, who's on this call, she's the one that recommended me from our district. So I think it's, as past leaders, it's our responsibility to invite people to become leaders, to see the potential and to develop it, and not just say, okay, we're past president, I'm just going to go sit at the table and
I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm out of here. But we need to mentor the future leaders. And so I think that's kind of where we have a gap.
Yeah, I agree absolutely, Beth. And I think that we have a gap in some ways because do we really, I think about a good bit that we go about the business of running our club or the running of our district or the running of our state. We know when the meetings are and what we have to do those things. And we go about the business of it, and we don't stop oftentimes enough to have some conversations about where we are and where we would like to be. And so how do we get from A to B? And so, if people aren't thinking about those things and they're waiting on somebody else to think, and everybody's waiting, how much action is going to occur? Did I ever think about being a GFWC officer? I can tell you in the 47 years when I started, I just wanted to meet people. I was new to the community. I joined in year 2 of teaching, and I was new to the community and didn't know anybody. I joined the first night and I've not looked back. I will tell you that I've had many, many wonderful women who were mentors to me, many of whom we've lost now, but they are part of how I continue to grow, because they saw in me at some point some possibility that I will say that I don't know why I am as I am, but I will say that from an early teenage age, I have always been involved, but I didn't necessarily have to be the leader. I just was excited about everything and I wanted to be part of it all. So it wasn't necessarily that I had to be the person in charge. I've just loved being part. But yes, we've got to think about, or not got to, we need to think about what it is that we do. If we aren't asked, if somebody doesn't ask you to serve or ask you to take this, we need to give people steps that are relative to their ability and to their knowledge. Would you ask somebody to be the state's first vice president that's brand new to the organization and knows absolutely nothing about it? Not likely, but there's probably something at the local level or at the district level you can engage new members in, or people who've been around a while but who've been reluctant to accept leadership roles. Why is it? Is it because they're afraid to speak? Is it because they're really not confident about how to organize? Is it they're afraid that they'll forget that there's certain things that you need to do? So
Yeah.
if you find out the why they want, then what is it that you do from there? If you know the reason they won't accept a role, what is it that you do? It's your job. What is it?
I think that's the biggest struggle that I had trying to fill all the roles in my administration, is because, I came back after an absence and got thrown right in, I think, didn't I? To, some leadership roles as soon as I walked back into a state meeting, but I didn't have the ability to know everybody's potential, every potential member's strengths. And
Right.
so if there was a way that I had, I mean, not a nominating thing like we do for officers, but if there was a way that we on a state level could get information from members of our clubs that maybe have not jumped in, like you said, to be in a leadership role, you know, it'd be neat if we knew that somebody had marketing skills, or it would be neat to know if somebody else had, you know, a different kind of skill that would be a perfect fit for a position on the
All
board
right,
of
Vicki,
directors.
you've identified one thing that you wish that you had had. So what could you and the other ladies in the meeting today do to address that need? That's my whole point. If you know what is problematic, what is it that you can do? So what's an idea about what you could do, ladies, about what Vicki just said?
Well, I know in the Cookville Junior Women's Club, we actually have a sheet that we have where we fill out
Mm-hmm.
interests and stuff that we had when we first started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also a good way of measuring what kind of leaders you actually have already.
Right.
I came in, I found them on Facebook, and I was a military wife in military organizations. So I had these leadership skills that I was trying to share, but if I wouldn't have found them, I wouldn't have ever shared them.
Right. Right. And so, you know, you can maybe at the club level. Yeah, Sarah, you had an idea.
Well, I'm also in the Cookville Junior Women's Club, and we kind of developed in the last 2 years a retreat where we jumped in on leadership skills that Sakura has and asked her if she would serve in this position. And we all met together and kind of made them feel welcome and comfortable with throwing out ideas at this retreat and saying, okay, well, this is your idea. You want to do a book drive. How do we as the executive committee help you make that happen? How do we make you feel comfortable with the ideas that you have that we've not always done what we've always done? So we'd only do what we've always done. And how do we make you feel comfortable in where you want to jump in and make things happen and change?
You provide knowledge, you help them with their skills, you support them, you allow them to dream with you. You don't have this itemized list of these are the things that we're going to do. You let the whole team of the 25 here today plan, you know, and dream, and think about what it is we can do. You know, if a woman is afraid to speak, and she's afraid to speak, give her those small beginning opportunities at the club to do something very short that's a minute long, or give her 2 minutes, and then help her to come up with that 2 minutes, so that she give them those opportunities. If they're you know, new to the club, but they don't have any connection with anybody, connect them with a leader that's already organizing a project and let them tag along and then work together. Give them those beginning opportunities. It's not because everybody in the world doesn't want to accept leadership. I am convinced that it's because they are afraid of it and they have not been prepared for it. And we just expect them, when we have fresh meat like Vicki, that we can throw them to the wolves by putting them up there as the president of the state or the club or the universe, and she's not prepared. You know, even if you had somebody that was fresh, that would be willing because they are a learner and they are maybe excited, make sure that somebody shadows along with her along the way to support her. I have a friend, and I'm sharing. Yeah, I'll get to you, Marianne, in just a second. I'll share this because of this, of the power of it. I'm aware of a woman that probably 8 years or so ago was asked to be president of a club, and she was only in GFWC for maybe 5 years at that point, so was beginning to learn, but not anyway in that kind of position. She was also asked to be the district director at the same time. And I was familiar with her. We had worked together in our professional careers, but not in GFWC. And she told me about it. And I said, well, you know, I think that you could do it. There'll be lots to learn, but I'm quite confident just knowing you that you can do it. And I said, you know, if you want to take it, I'll be glad to help. and can, help teach you the language, or we can look at the bylaws and see what needs to be done, or whatever. And she said, I'm going to take it because I know you won't let me fail. She was willing to do both of those at the same time, both with no knowledge, but she knew that I would not let her fail because of our professional experience together. She said, I know that you will want me to succeed and you won't let me miss anything. And so I coached her at every meeting. As we began communications, we would meet and chat and talk, and she would do it. And in less than a year, she could have been independent, but she still continued to let me look at everything, her calls to meetings, her agendas, her language. And I told her, I said, Caroline, you've been independent. You just don't know it yet. And I said, I'm happy to do that. But she accepted that because she knew I wouldn't let her fail. And so back to Amy, wasn't it you that said that, Amy, about having a mentor, or somebody else might have said it, I'm sorry, whoever said was having a mentor and helping to teach them. That's so critical. But God, now we've got a woman who's serving on the state board of directors as an officer because of that learning experience. So Mary Ann, you had something.
Yes, I have a suggestion that would have helped Vicki at this, like the spring conference, or maybe even fall as well, doing a survey of the people that are there, have a form for them, and have it designed so their interest, at least, and their capabilities in specific areas like public relations and web design, things like that, could be a way to provide additional information to people who are coming in and need to have their administration fleshed out.
That way you could put it into a database and provide it to the next president-elect, or even
Right.
clubs. So, it relates to all levels. Club presidents could even provide information about who they see in their club could be good possibilities.
That would have been so wonderful. I think that's something we need to make a goal to do
Right.
moving
There's
forward.
lots of things you can do. You just have to you have to allow yourself time to think about where is it that we need to grow and improve, whether it's at the club, the district level, or at the state level. Events that we want to grow and enhance, our communications, whatever. I mean, there's so many things, but you have to allow yourselves time to grow and sort of take a self-reflection, and then collectively come up with these great ideas and start putting them into action. Somebody else have something?
I did.
Okay.
We had a survey done by a past president, and I think that it could be done even at club levels, and then those are submitted to your district and state presidents. But I was a little bit surprised we didn't get one from Vicki, because we had a state president that did that already. And that's how I became a little bit more involved, looking at, maybe I should do something more on the state level, kind of thing, which I've had a club rearrangement situation in my life. But so club level is sort of at a standstill. But it's one of those things that if you have the experience, because no, I'm unemployed right now, so it doesn't look like I know much because I don't have a job, but the variety of positions that I have held throughout my life and different responsibilities, sort of like my resume, is absolutely stupidly ridiculous on the kinds of experience that I've had for my background education, my actual education. And so I just think that sort of, because we have so many tools electronically, technologically, they need to be utilized. I mean, SurveyMonkey, from what I understand, is free to use, kind of thing. So, we just need to get back on board in using what had started and continue that.
How long does it take for you to lose those things that have happened previously?
2 seconds.
That's right. That's right. Just because it was done once before doesn't mean that Vicky came in and even knew about it. And if nobody mentioned it, it's gone. And it's just like you start a new program. And if it's not mentioned in 6 months, oh, that one must be gone. We're starting something new. So it takes no time as long as there's not consistency and or an updating. You don't have to do it the same way as somebody said. If you like what you're doing, but you want to keep a fresh look on it, give it a fresh look or a fresh twist. But it doesn't take long to lose those things that have been serviceable to you in the past. Janet, did you raise your hand, I think? Thank you, Jill.
Yes, I did. My club, just within the last couple of days, has sent out, we're working on a survey to send out to our membership. And some of the questions on our survey would be, what would you like to see our club be more involved in? How could we be a part of a long-term project? Are there any speakers that you think would be a good fit for monthly meetings? What do you enjoy most about being a member of our club? What, if anything, would you change to make our club more effective? And any additional comments? So I think it's always good to survey your membership to get feedback of what's not working, what can we do better, and what do we have for the future?
You oftentimes can get some really great gold nuggets in those responses, can't you? And then brainstorm and see where you take them.
Especially if they're anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we're going to get ready to do our recess. Sue Ellen, I can't thank you enough for not only giving us your prepared speech, but doing this on the fly mentorship and resource for us. I hope everybody took notes. I hope everybody who gets to see this later on a recording will also be able to take notes. I filled up 2 pages and I don't even know if I'm going to be able to read it afterwards. But anyway, I do want to thank you. I mean, Sue Ellen has been an absolute pleasure to work with, and GFWC is in fabulous hands with her and the rest of the members of the executive committee. I just can't thank you guys enough. So thank you all, everybody. Oh, Jill, real quickly, do you want to do the credentials?
I was going to try to squeeze in. Do you want me to? Okay, preliminary that I have at this point is 19 in attendance. GF officers and guests is 1, SER officers 0, executive committee 4, state board of directors 4, district 2, club 1, chair people 2, members 6, and then total is 19 for preliminary.
Thank you. So obviously some people are on board, which is fine, but they didn't
right.
You know, they didn't send it to you, but just to, you know, we were trying to keep up with some of the thought process that we usually do when we do have a state meeting. So thank you for that very much.
And I have requested to those that are in participation to send me their registration via email, so we have that for tracking. And it's real easy. It's jilljackson4gfwc@gmail.com.
Great.
Perfect. I have a question. What time is our next session?
Our next session is at 12:30 Central.
Okay, so 1:30 for us.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we are going to recess until then. You guys get up and yes, ma'am.
I was just going to say, if you would leave it recording for just a minute, I will cut and paste those 3 questions in the chat before you turn it off.
Perfect. Let me know.
Work? Would that work?
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you.
Okay. It won't take me long. I'm ready to do
All
it.
right. So we're going to wait for her to do that, but we're going to recess until 12:30 Central. So I know a lot of you probably have to get up and go potty and have something for lunch. And we'll see everybody back in half an hour or so. Thank you. And don't forget, you got to go to a new Zoom link for this last session, because I couldn't leave leave it going for 30 minutes. So sign up with the last Zoom link, and we'll start hearing from all the CSP and other leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vicki. By the way, hi everybody that's still there that I haven't seen in how many months.
Hi, Jill.
How are you?
Hi, Jill.
Hi.
I've missed you.
I know. I've missed all of you guys. I am telling you,
I think you're muted.
Yeah, I think she is.
Oops.
I guess I was.
you go.
Virtual hugs all the way around. I was saying I miss you guys too.
It's so wonderful to see everyone. I really miss the conferences and conventions, and it's just great
I
to
know.
see old friends. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah, I'm ready to see everybody in person already. Even with the mask, I don't care. Sitting 6 feet apart, I don't care.
I
At
may
least we'd
even
be able to
touch
see
and
each
hug
other.
you.
Well, what are people doing? Kicking heels and bumping elbows now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's there that I can't? Oh, Maggie. I can't see her face. Stephanie Head, Linda Head, Darla Head.
Darla was quiet.
Yeah.
That's
And
unusual.
hi, Carla. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Sue Ellen.
Oh,
And Sarah.
Good to
And
see everybody.
Sarah. Hi, Amy. Nice to meet you.
I'm trying to be quiet too.
Oh.
We just need to leave her mic on so we hear everything she wants to say. We hear her thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and go because I barely got ready for this morning because I was up very late last night.
Thank you, Jill.
All right, see you in a little bit.
Oh, I tried.
Hey, Amy, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you all have a Facebook club page? Because I have 2 friends that live in Columbia, and I'm sure they would love to be a part of you.
We do. It's GFWC Murray County Women's Club.
Women's as in one woman apostrophe S, or women's as in several women?
Women's, plural. And yes, please send them our way. It took us a few months to even get 12 members for us to get our charter, and about half of those women have not come back since the pandemic. And yeah, we could really stand to have some more people show up.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a struggle to have normal meetings
It
on
really
Zoom.
is. Yeah. Even when we did meetings on Zoom, we'd still only get maybe 8 people tops to show up. So I know some of the women who were who did sign up last year have had scheduling changes with work, or you know, one woman especially, she's rather elderly and her husband has a lot of health issues, and they have barely left the house since March. So and also not terribly tech savvy, so I think Zoom's a little bit intimidating. Rather than using Zoom, I've found that we've actually had better luck with long distance meetings using Facebook Messenger. You can get everybody on a video call. It's free, and there's no 40-minute limit like there is with the free Zoom. So we've had a couple of meetings over Facebook Messenger, and those worked, I think, better than Zoom, and they were definitely cheaper.
Okay.
I should have mentioned that to everybody, shouldn't I?
All right.
okay. I have posted those, Vicki.
Okay, great. I'm copying them as I speak.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody. We'll see
Welcome.
you in half an hour.
All right. Sounds great. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies.